Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai hoki mai ki Taupo Moana Record Keepers. It is approximately the 23rd of September 2022. We are at Rangatira Point at the moment. We're going on a little hikoi with Dai and Roel Micels and going to hear a little bit about their kōrero of what connects them to this very special place. So without further ado, let us go on our way.
Kia ora koutou people. Yes, we are out here with Whaitaima and Jeffrey to take a different walk for us. Mainly our connections here are ancestral, but Roel and I typically come out here and do predator trapping. So today's a special day. We're learning a little bit more about this very, very special area. Kia ora.
Particularly, we're interested in the history of this. So far, we have seen this as a track that's been developed for taking the dogs for a walk and for the tourists. But you know, there's apparently a lot of history here that you know, is generally getting taken over by vegetation that is not original and by you know, just yeah, we'd like to get more of an idea of what it was like. And particularly Diane has, well, there's a car going past, sorry about that, but that's another thing. There's now a big road here, which originally probably wasn't here when the Maoris lived here. And one of Dai's ancestors used to sail the Tongariro steamship across the lake to take people from Taupo to Kanu, and we are quite sure that there was a point here where he picked up more passengers, and that's the type of area we want to go to and look a bit more for.
So this is our standard DOC 200. We have 21 of these
In this reserve?
In this reserve.
Wow.
So it goes from this is the last of the 21, and it goes towards Taupo as the track line that goes along the fisherman's track. So we have inside here, we have a DOC 200 trap, and we have an egg as a visual lure, and you'll see just down in here, this is dried rabbit or some other bit of chicken or something like
something
that.
smelly.
So smelly. The eggs are visual lure, and
see here the half.
It's a half a tea strainer.
And we put some bait in there, which is dehydrated rabbit.
Wow.
Attracts the
Stoats.
the bats and stoats.
So those are the two predators we're after: rats and stoats.
Weasels, stoats,
yeah,
mustelids. Sometimes we get the occasional mouse, because if the trap's not calibrated, it'll catch a mouse. But most of the time it's rats, hedgehogs.
In the last 3 years or so, we have caught over 400 rats here, plus a few stoats and particularly weasels.
Are you talking about in this reserve alone?
On the set of 21 traps.
Yeah.
You've caught over 400 rats on them.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Caught in those 3 years.
Wow. You must have been able to bake some amazing pies.
But that is not much compared to the Waitanui River. We have a few more traps there, about 41, and we are over 1,000 predators there, of which is 870 or so rats.
So over time, that must have a marked effect on the bird life and the understory of the
Yes.
forest.
It does. And
When it's not being hit like that.
Yeah, if the microphones are picking it up, you'll be hearing riro, you're hearing
At the moment.
Marco, you're hearing tui, you're hearing popo katia.
Let's be still and see if we can hear something. Is it tui?
Yes, and that.
Yeah, it's a tomtit.
It'll be interesting to see if
Yeah,
the audio catches that. But yeah, now people say that you can hear more now. I don't know. Because definitely we have had the feedback of the Waitanui River that there are a lot more birds now than there used to be for a while, and we see some birds coming back that we haven't seen there for ages, like tomtits and yeah.
That must feel satisfying just on its own to have a tangible, measurable, effect on the biosphere like that.
Yeah.
And to me, it's what the little one person can do, can be an inspiration, and also enable other people to go, well, if they can do it, I can do a little bit too.
Well, it is a community project as well.
So can you just tell me the name of the organisation that you're kind of operating under?
When we got here, I had never done any trapping, but I had seen trap lines, and I thought, when I retire, and I'd be interesting to, because I like doing this sort of walks and that.
Yes.
And I could see that surfacing the trap would make the walks useful, rather than just doing for myself. And so I contacted Project Tongariro.
Project Tongariro.
Yeah, which is an organisation around the Tongariro National Park and Lake Taupo, who's organising volunteers to do planting, trapping.
Kaitiaki work for the ngahere. Yeah.
So we got introduced to some areas like Rotopunamu, which is still an old virgin forest where the nature has not been ruined by burn-offs and that sort of thing.
And human meddling.
And yeah.
A beautiful bit of bush.
Isn't it?
It's just, but that worries me when you see a peg like that.
Why does that worry you?
That's a boundary peg.
Yes, it's also been moved.
We came down here one day and they had diggers very close to here, didn't they?
Yes, Perry's had.
They went up there.
Oh,
Just there, you can see where.
Yes. And up there. Yeah, that's where they've brought a digger down so they can walk down to the lake.
Oh. They have to bring a digger?
Yeah, it's not very subtle. But this is the issue around here.
There's a bit of ancient stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, all of the homes above us in the gated community that is Rangatira Point, they've all been built on an ancient pa site.
Oh, we have a cootie.
As well as the manu. There were probably a few wild kuri as well.
There's 4 tui up here and 1 korimako.
You mean 2 times tui?
Yeah.
Come here.
Hello. Hi. You're regular. Eh?
Come here.
Hey, hello.
You live here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Somebody's been through here recently and done this up. This track,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember it being quite so wide.
When, How long ago was it when you
Been quite a while.
last? How regularly do you check the traps here? You know.
We haven't got any in this part.
Oh, so that one we saw was
It's
the only
last
one.
Yeah. So
How come you haven't put any down here?
I've got no idea. Why haven't
Roel?
we got traps down here?
Why aren't there traps here?
We started with a community project, and that was included, you know, trips for the people in the community and some trips for this line, and it was set up with those 21 trips. Then for more than 6 or 7 months, nothing more was done. They were never even checked. So when Diane and I heard about it, we said, well, we should at least check them. We had to clear horrible leftovers of
Long dead animals.
out of all the trips and clean them up a bit, and we decided to check it more regularly. It was the right area, and gradually we've managed to get some others interested in doing this, some friends, and so it's now checked every week.
Wow.
But we haven't got any further than the 21 trips yet. And someone else has taken the initiative and put some trips more this way. But
Also, there are some other traps
there are some other
in
trips,
operation.
but I don't know how many, and it's not part of our.
Well, it's good that it's spreading because it's all, you know, if everyone looks after a little bit, then we're looking after a lot.
Well, we've seen it
Collectively.
You've seen it in Miramar Peninsula.
Yes. Wellington.
In Wellington,
Yes.
where they put them in the backyards of everyone's property.
And they also have little penguin boxes and nesting boxes and things where my sister lives in Wellington. That's quite cool. And they're needed because there's so many cats who'll kill them and eat them.
We'd like to put some more trips also along the road, so that, you know, if we walk carefully and check the trips, then that's something useful to do on the way back as well.
It's really all just about making those relationships with the trustees of the blocks of lands if they're in multiple Māori ownership, and to me it's a no-brainer that if there's nothing being put in any of their lands to control the predators, then why wouldn't you?
Yep.
So this is another bad invasive weed here, old man.
Oh yes.
Oh.
I mean, it's not. It's got
Wandering
flower.
something.
Yeah.
Wandering something. Well, let's just leave it at
Wandering too
that.
far.
Yes.
Well, this project or Tongariro organisation has got some people that are really more into it.
These ones are incredibly hard to get rid of, and you can see how established it is already. Yeah. But no one's monitoring it, and it's just gradually going through the understory, replacing and killing out little rako like this kōwhai.
Yep.
Strangling these won't be able to compete.
This trick is not as bad as a lot of other tricks along the rivers.
Do you see these little caves up
Yeah.
up here? So these are the kind of crevices and clefts where bones and remains of ancestors were. They never left them in habitable caves because any more than we'd have bones in our homes today. You know, you just don't mix the places, and that would be a waste of a good cave if you could sleep in it. But there was such a different relationship to human remains. Yeah, I wonder what's in there. I haven't even looked in there before. Have I?
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Yes, there's a modern day artifact.
Oh look, we found a. Oh my goodness.
It's an artifact.
It's an artifact.
It's
a coffee. It's ancient coffee cup.
It must be at least a month old.
And it must be really old because it's called mammoth.
Yeah. Should we?
Chuck it in the back of my bag while we roll.
Some rock art.
4
Have you
centuries.
got a light on there? A torch or?
No.
Oh, I didn't bring mine.
I've got
Use your phones.
I My phone's on here.
Have you got a head torch in here?
Hang on. If Roel can get his phone, it's just quicker.
Do you have a head torch?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'll get it for the next cave too. So he can see something.
It's in the black.
This one.
No. Is it full time?
Well, I don't have it torch.
I think you do. I think you do.
Hang on. There you go.
But is it folded?
Is there any cave leaders in
Come
there?
this way. Yes, there are. But we're going to stay away from them. Yeah, they're in there.
Ah.
Of a design that used to come all the way along here.
Oh, nothing. Batteries. Ah.
That's water, isn't it?
So I think if you look up to your left, oh, you might have to go in a bit further.
Yeah, look at them all.
Yeah.
Ah, really? Deep in them.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come down. No, just stay here. So we can see you through. So that wasn't there when you went to yesterday. While I'm downstairs.
Quite in between.
We had him.
Yeah.
Not just one, many.
I thought Roel had fallen out of bed.
Rolling.
Okay, we're at a particularly special place now for Di, because her ancestor Tom Ryan used to bring a boat in here and take people to the cave that we're about to go and have a look at ourselves. So can you just fill us in on all those beautiful details?
Yeah, so this place here is a special place in respect to one of the few things in Taupo that is still evident today as it was when Tom Ryan was here. Now Tom's my great-grandfather. He ran a steamship service from Taupo to Kano, and he would regularly come along this part of the Western Bay, and he would pull in to this gut in the background here, or if he had one of the smaller boats, he could pull it into further along amongst these rocks, and he would load passengers and pick up and do deliveries from here. When he launched the Tongariro, she was built in Taupo.
About how long ago? You know?
1899 she was built. The timber, she was designed in Auckland, and the timber was cut up, pre-cut, and brought to Taupo via a bullock trailer that was picked up from Patararu, from the railway station. So from Patararu to Taupo, it was bought by bullock, and then they built it on the foreshore of down where currently the Coast Guard stands, and with on the foreshore there down by the Coast Guard area, and then once she'd been built, they took her off on her maiden voyage, and there's several photos of the boat completely overloaded, and all the local Māori got on board this boat and they headed off down here, and as soon as it got past this particular point here at Whanga Moanga, they encountered the strong westerly wind. And of course, being a nice narrow boat, she was 60 feet long, about 12 feet wide, it rolled like a barge. So all the native fellas said, no, not going on this waka, not safe. So Tom came down here and he found this pillar of stone, and on it he carved an impersonation of, we believe, Kia, and that was basically to acknowledge the ancestors of this area and to give protection to the boat as it took its journey each time down the lake. He ran it 3 or 4 days a week. And so the pillar was carved by Tom. There's a few remnants of the original shape he put in it. Part of the pillar has broken off on the right hand side. And then a young lad, Matahi Brightwell, came out here and he contacted my uncle in the 70s and he carved a rework of it. So very similar impression on the stone, and that was prior to Matahi being involved with the carvings around that mine bay. During the period from the 70s until approximately 6 years ago, the stone had weathered significantly. So most of what was on the stone when Matahi carved it in the 1970s had weathered from what Tom had put on it.
You can already see the weather on this, and the detail.
Yep.
Like between his legs.
Yes.
Is now very hard to make out. So
yep.
It is a very soft rock.
Yeah, and
that is prone particularly to the weather, to weathering.
So Matahi came back out about 6 years ago and did another rework on the rock. So for the people that see the rock, I believe it still has the mana of the rock and what it had meant for Taupo citizens from back in 1899 when Tom carved it. Yeah. To the present day, it still holds all that significance. Our tourist boats come here, you see the Ernest Kemp in the background. It's not uncommon for those guys to bring this boat close into here and allow their passengers to have a little bit of a story behind this pillar here, because of course they go to see the modern day carvings and this is the old one.
Guy was a little bit upset that Matahi Brightwell had put his initials in. He actually carved his initials in there, and so she made some effort to contact him to say that that was not on. If you change somebody else's artwork and also then more or less claim it for yourself, that is not to be done. Matahi sort of said, oh, but I did quite a lot of work on it and otherwise it would have gone away. But in the process, when talking to each other, they actually found out they were family of each other. So because the person that made the original one, Guy can probably tell it better, but she originated from a Maori ancestor.
Yeah, so Tom Ryan was married to Mary Ryan, who was the daughter of Kamarira Wharepapa, a well-known rangatira from Mangakahia up in Northland. He married an English woman on his trip to visit Queen Victoria in 1863. But prior to that trip to England, he had married a woman from the East Coast, and I have to apologise, I don't know who this woman is. We've been trying to find her name, and she died prior to him going to England, and Matahi is descended from the offspring of Wharepapa's first marriage. So it's interesting, and that's how we found it when we were discussing with Matahi the reworking of the carving and circumstances around it. It came out that we had common whakapapa.
So that's a great tohu for Māori.
Yeah.
It's a real good tohu that
Yeah.
it is meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, the mauri, the wairua
Yeah.
is still there.
It's still there. Yep.
You alluded to that the original carving was a personification of Tia.
Yeah.
It is still a personification of Tia, so I hear exactly what you're saying about that, and it's true.
Mm.
So that's awesome to get your kōrero
Yeah.
about it, because it is a very special
It is.
carving.
Yeah.
And tupuna is very special.
It is.
Doesn't get more special into this area. And there are a few places around here that pay homage to Tia.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I really think
Yeah. No, it's a lovely.
An important work of art.
Yeah. And it would be nice to know that even going forward, that there's going to be more people to continue making sure that this has.
What we've had to do already, and I can see we're almost in the stage of needing to do it again,
Yeah.
is make sure not too much growth goes around it,
Yep.
because the more moss and little critters
Yeah.
that get on it, they'll just pull it
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
So the only thing that will defeat them is sunlight.
Yep.
And so this is why, if we want to keep it kind of, not deteriorating too quickly, is I think to make sure that we keep the surrounding kind of growth tamed to the point where it's not shading it.
Yeah. But by the same token, it really surprised our family. I brought my two sisters out here to show them,
Yes.
and it really surprised me that there was not more graffiti on it,
Why?
because I just felt that it's that it could become a target for people to come and.
Yes. And this is the big concern, like for the
Yeah.
cave we've been into already. For the other big one,
Yep.
is that it only takes one idiot with a spray can
That's
to
right.
do a huge
Yep.
amount of damage. And so it's part of the dilemma. You want people to
Yeah.
know it's there, but not the people with spray cans.
Yeah, you got it.
And yeah, so
We can walk through this way. See that big long gut there? That's where the boat used to come in there.
let's film that later.
So, if it was fine, he could get it. He could just park it in here.
I suppose lake level would have fluctuated back in
The lake level was a lot lower,
Yes,
heaps lower.
yes, 1.5 meters. Or so.
Yeah.
So was
See-
Ryan's boat narrow enough in draft
Yep.
to be able to fit
Yeah,
into
yeah.
this little channel?
Yeah, because even the old pihanga that we've got at our house, he could get it in there.
So I think my farmer's taken a still of what remains of the pihanga.
That's right. Yep.
So we might weave that into this.
Yeah. Yeah. So the pihanga was one of Tom's smaller boats, And he'd go and service the communities with it and take people to Whaikaipō Bay to his fishing camp. So he had a fishing camp at Whaikaipō Bay, and people would come with him, and then he'd service the communities on the other side, on the eastern side of the lake. But they could fit in here. This is really deep.
It looks it.
You jump in, it's really deep.
Wow. Good place to go coda catch.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is what it is a historical kind of connection for us in Waitahanui, that there's talk, and it's probably happened for centuries. They come over here,
Yep.
camp at the cave,
Yep.
and catch coda.
Yep. All along here you get heaps of them.
Yes.
But this is not normally this high, like normally you can walk all around on those other side there.
Yes, the lake is exceptionally high.
Sorry, I'm babbling on.
Gabble, gabble.
Right.
Who's got the microphone?
I've got no idea. I have.
You have.
Can we pop the microphone on, Jeffrey?
Yes?
Oh, okay, yes, because I'm going to talk about the cave.
But you have to put it where it's not hidden by those two straps.
Here, if you take the camera, I'll mic myself up.
Yeah.
I'll go about this one.
Yeah.
Okay. You've never been with the descendant of the first person who carved it. Right, so now,
See how those people comes down onto the thing here?
yes,
And because it fits around that corner, nobody sees it. They wouldn't even know it.
no. And that's the same for all the cultural features within this very reserve we're walking in. Most people, for a start, they're not here on the track. They're off the track in the bush. So even a feature like that up there, quite possibly you'd find there'll be cultivations and things if we went up there. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of angry birds here.
Yes.
But yeah, it's incredible how he had those two little spots where he could bring the boats in.
Yes.
And because when he took the boat down to the canoe,
Yes.
he had pigeons on board, and he'd send a pigeon. One would go to the Spa Hotel, tell how many people were coming for dinner and staying, and the other one went to the coach to say how many people were carrying on to Rotorua.
That's pretty amazing, eh?
Or the opposite,
Pigeon communication.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Is this? Should we go? Oh yes, there's the mark.
Put a mark on there too.
Yes. So
Right, so that's where you go in,
Yeah.
but it's choked. Shall we have a go?
yeah,
Come on then.
well you'll get to understand the significance of the problem and the enormity of the invasive. Look, we've started to see it here already.
Yeah.
This is where it's coming out to.
Oh,
But
look at it. Oh, wow.
so when you say a community working bee, it'll be a significant working bee. Now,
Somebody's been in here.
no one has. This is the interesting thing about this tree. It sheds its bark so the jasmine cannot get a stranglehold. But everywhere else around it, the trees that don't shed their bark, which is a lot of the natives, they're being killed off,
Yeah.
being literally strangled.
I wonder if we can, if we pull that at the bottom, if you cut it all off at the bottom,
Yes,
at least then it'll kill the stuff in the top of the trees won't survive.
that's true.
I think, Roel, you mentioned something else before about...
But it's,
What sort of tree is this one?
So the non-native
I'm not sure.
trees, we're not sure what this tree is, but it sheds its bark.
and so
So the jasmine can't...
it's got a defence against these invasive species.
But the leaves aren't like that.
I mean, if you look at this bark, you think, oh, you think of Karnika or Manukau.
I think if we skirt our way through, let's.
So the only cave that big cave that I was familiar with was the one that we've already investigated.
Oh, you sure?
So we've never been into.
Oh, well, you're in for a treat then.
See, and this would indicate to me that this is all these rocks here that have been
Yeah, they've been put here.
put here.
Yes. Moved aside so they could grow gardens in other areas. We just find unusual concentrations. So,
Oh wow! That's a bridge.
this is like the entrance way to where the caves are. They're not far away from here.
Oh yeah, it's actually a bridge.
Yes. So this is like the entrance way to this very special place we're going to now, Te Ana o Kaiawha, the Kaiawha cave. It's been inhabited for at least 800 years, almost continuously through our history. That's what makes it so special, one of the oldest inhabited places in Aotearoa that's known of.
And you can go that way to get to an entrance, or you can go this way.
Oh wow, we'll follow the boss. No, that's what I just trying to separate. Wow.
Evidence of their
Yeah.
occupation now is left. Are you still recording Whaitaima?
I'm still recording.
Di has never been into this ana before. This cave is called Te Kaiawha, which means the eater of storms, and named after the point that takes the brunt of the winds, the southerly winds that come
So,
through.
you called it Whakamoinga Point.
Yep.
The name before that was Kaiawha,
Kaiawha.
which
Yeah.
is the eater of storms, the point out
Yeah.
there. Hey, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it all comes together.
So this is the name that I've heard this cave being called, and it's been occupied for at least 800 years. They did a archaeological dig here in the 1960s, and right here they dug down over a metre, and at every layer that they dug down they found worked obsidian flakes and things down there. So this was a major centre for working of obsidian, for which the source of is about 2 bays whangamata. Mata is the Māori word here for obsidian. So this was a hive of industry for many, many years, and a refuge. This could have slept at least 100 people. And
Boat passengers.
Yeah.
yes, boat passengers, whoever. I've seen photos in here when it was in Pākehā ownership of this being decked out with a bed, with cupboards, with and a full kitchen kind of thing. So this was
Yeah.
yes,
The archaeologists
Yes.
brought some stuff in
yes.
and lived in here.
They just continued the tradition of occupation.
Yeah, I found it by accident when I was landed here with a group of kayakers. And, that trip has been done many, many times. And the guy that ran it didn't know about it. And when I showed him, he couldn't believe it that it was there. Because I've never seen it. And always sort of
Yes,
had their lunch there.
yeah. He kura huna, it's a hidden treasure.
Is that that's an art carving there in the wall, is it?
Well, it's one of the few markings of people who can't resist leaving their initials, their mark. It's low grade art, I'd have to say, in that it's just people's initials. And this is what these caves are at risk of. People.
So that goes around, Di?
Yep.
Goes around, that's another entrance.
Ah.
It goes a long. It goes a long way. Yeah. It actually doesn't go to another entrance, but it
Certainly goes in a long way.
yes, and sleeps a lot of people. And not forgetting that this, where we are, was actually down a metre, you know, so this cave was in effect a lot bigger at one stage. And also what's happened over time is its entranceway has collapsed. That's what's made all of this. Yeah, so above us has dropped down. So originally the cave entrance was, you know, way out here, so it was even bigger than it is now.
You can see that we can use people.
Yes. I won't know. Kids, you're sleeping down there.
Anyone that snores,
You're going right to the end. No, it'd be like a speaker with a snorer.
it intrigues me with just the colours as well.
Yes.
I mean, just take that.
Yes.
Textures are
It's-
lovely.
I've just had a call from our daughter,
Yep.
who's travelled, who's got her daughter, and is screaming the house down.
So she wants us to
She'd
go
like
back.
us to go back. We'll come back again.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
This
beautiful.
is. Oh, I'm definitely coming back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So remember
I'd
that.
like to come back with my sketchbook.
Come
Yes.
back. Come back, Di. Come back.
Yeah.
And please let us know when you do. And please let us know when you go to Rotopo Namu.
Yes.
We want to come with you guys.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
Fantastic. So yes,
Because we've given
haere te Kaiawha.
Yes, we can go.
So nice. But they,
Either left or
but
right.
you see what's happening here though, eh?
Oh, this is.
The invasion of this jasmine is
Yeah.
just
Everywhere.
killing. Look what it's doing to that tree. It's killed it.
Have you got that on video? Whaitaima?
Yes, I do.
We need to show the council because this is a
Council need to come out and look at this.
it's a council reserve. I told Dave Hadley a year ago that there was a problem, and he just, you know, they looked the other way.
It wasn't this bad a year ago.
Yes, yeah, and that would have been another. That's where the really noisy sleepers would have been put. You're going there.
Well, the ones that didn't like cave weeders wouldn't dislike them for long because if
Yes.
they jump up and they hit their head into the problem.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of ways in and out. And if you just follow Di, it'll lead back to the main path.
So, when I first came here, Di, I was of the mindset that, oh, this should be opened up and signposted and everyone
No,
should know
no.
about this. This was my original mindset. But the more I've done this kind of mahi, I've realised, no, some things are better protected, left unsignposted.
Yeah.
And only those who hear about it through the kumaravine are the ones who are meant to go there.
What here?
Yeah,
Yes, we can go this way.
on a party or something.
So I quite like that. It gives it a bit of mystique and more protection, a layer of protection. And when you think that after 800 years, the little those initials are the only signs of modification.
Oh, you don't see it, so does here. Yeah, I've got to go in this way.
Whatever way you go, you're going to find the cave and you're going to find the way back.
Oh, look,
Well,
these are real archaeological things.
wow, that's probably from the 60s, but it looks like it's biodegrading nicely.
I hope that's not Tom's tin of beans.
One of his passengers. So can we just stand here
You've got to come to
and
this
give
tree.
and just give a little wrap up and we'll end it here so I can put all this away?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that concludes our walk for today. It was really nice for you to see us, to be able to take you to a place you haven't been
Oh,
here after your time here. And I'm sure your great-grandfather would have brought people to that cave, not just the
Yeah.
one
Yep.
we initially stood in.
Yep.
That would have been, to me,
A more,
a bigger draw
Yeah.
card than the little one.
oh, for sure. For sure. No.
And yes, and if you were to go down that track, it would take you to where we were
Yes.
trying to cross over.
Yeah.
None of this bush would have been here. It would have been straight up to the cave.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mm.
No, it's just beautiful. Very good.
We're pretty close to Whakamaraea Point now, but yeah, we'll be back here and see if we can do something about the vegetation that seems to take over. But,
That is the disturbing thing from our walk here today, just seeing how quickly that jasmine is absolutely suffocating, not just the undergrowth, but now it's getting up into the canopy trees, and it won't be long before they're strangled.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we could get happening.
Get word out and actually start doing something.
Yes, because talking about a problem is much easier than actually doing something about it. Alrighty, well, mā te wae hoa mā, ka hoki mai anō tātou. Kia ora rā.
Kia ora.